Good morning. Welcome to January of 2023. I was off last week, so yeah, but that's not going to change what I'm going to tell you to do. Stop what you're doing, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button, and let's grow the pretty crew together. Definitely make sure you're subscribed, because there's a lot of things that I want to share this year and I don't want you to miss it. And make sure that you tell your girls to subscribe, because yeah, let's grow together. Let's not do it by ourselves. And then what I want you to do is to get your word, let's get your coffee, and let's get started. Okay, so I'm back, and before we jump into our word for the day and our coffee for the day, I want to chat with you about the beginning of the year. Tell me how it's been going. How was last week for you? I made a decision to take off the first Monday because I needed time to kind of regroup and make sure that my mind was rested enough. Because there's a lot happening and going to happen. And while I love pretty good coffee and I love sharing with each of you, I want to make sure that I'm sharing with you from a full place, right? Not an obligatory place, not a place of deficit, not a place of just doing to do, right? So it was a good idea for me to take the break. And it was one Monday, but it was wonderful. I spent it with family, very quiet. It was actually just what I needed. Just what I needed. And so now that I've been able to do that, I am ready to jump in. So drop in the comments how your first Monday was, actually how the 1st of January was for you. It was a Sunday, so it was bomb for me. I loved, one, being in church. We only had service for an hour, but it was bomb. And I loved being able to spend time with family because I had family in town. So from the week of Christmas all the way through the first week of January, I had family in town. So it was really nice to come back from service and still be able to spend time, which was bomb. And just have some extra time with my babies, just resting and catching up. So that was really nice. So yeah, because I feel like I'm not gonna have a lot of moments like that for the rest of the month, and not in a bad way. I'm not upset about that at all. Like, actually, I'm pretty excited. I'm very excited that God is filling up my calendar and showing me that there's a lot of life to be lived. There is a lot of life to be lived, and I'm thankful that He's trusted me with that. I really, really am. So that being said, it's going to take us right into today's scripture. But before we get there, I want to talk about our coffee, because obviously I went to one of my favorite places. I went to Scooters. I was going to make coffee with you guys this morning and all that jazz. But yeah, I decided to treat myself because that's what I wanted to do. But I will tell you that I am going to be doing more like coffees at home. So I'll be making more coffees. Sorry guys for the beeping. My signal is on. But I am going to be doing more coffees at home, like trying new things with you guys, making it like all that, and sharing that experience with you. But today I wanted to treat myself and get coffee. Excuse me. But they have this coffee. It is the creme brulee latte, and I of course get it iced. They have it warm, or they have it, you can get it hot, or you can get it oh my gosh guys, not frozen, but I guess it is frozen. I guess it's frozen. That is the option. Hold on one second. Let me pick y'all up for a second. Okay, because they blend it, that's what I was saying. Blended, they get it blended, but I get it iced. So, but it's really, really good. And you guys know that creme brulee is my favorite dessert. And so, they got it pretty close. Now, it's definitely coffee, so don't get me wrong. It's definitely coffee. But it is very reminiscent of a creme brulee. So I do like that. So I can show it to you here. Yay. It's really, really good. And it's not overly sweet. So if that's something that you're worried about, it's not overly sweet at all. I'll move over. Okay. Now, we got all that out of the way. And it's been a minute since we've been together. We're going to do, so one, you already know that my favorite dessert is creme brulee. You know, one of my favorite coffee places is Scooters. One of my favorite books of the Bible is Nehemiah. And many of you do know that. If you don't, yay, here you go. It is it is my favorite book. And then I have other books that I also enjoy, but this is my favorite book of the Bible, and I read it every year to start the year, but I also read it multiple times throughout the year. And of course, so this is January, so God has me studying it again. And each time I study it, there's something new that he pulls out. But this is a familiar scripture that I'm going to share with you. And it's Nehemiah 6. But we're going to read verses 2 through 4. And this is CSB version. Nehemiah 6, verses 2 through 4. Sanballat and Geshem sent me a message. Come, let's meet together in the villages of the Ono Valley. They were planning to harm me. So I sent messengers to them saying, I am doing important work and cannot come down. Why should the work cease while I leave it and go down to you? 4 times they sent me the same proposal, and I gave them the same reply. And if you've ever read the chapter, you know that they actually sent another one to him for a 5th time, and they did it through a letter. And he responded back to that as well. But what's important here is that his response didn't change. Okay? There was going to be constant distraction, constant like, come do this, come go here, let us meet together, let us connect, let us do XXX. But he was clear in his mind that one, they were coming to harm him. They weren't coming to prosper him. They weren't coming to connect fruitfully with him. They were coming to harm him and asking him to come to them, actually. But also that they were a distraction from the work that he was actually called to do. And so it's important as we're beginning this year. I know that it's the second Monday, but this is really the real Monday because a lot of us took off the first Monday, right? But there's a lot of important work that God is commissioned us to do. And there are going to be people that are going to come up and to try to distract us or get us to do something different or to take a break or to connect with them because it seems like a better way to get it done, or a better way to advance the cause that God has given. And the reality is that you do not have the luxury or the right to stop the work that God is telling you to do. Okay? It is really important that your response not change just because they are insistent. And they will be insistent. They will tell you over, hey, come, let us gather together. Let us do this. Take a moment to do this. You don't need to work that hard. You can take a break from that aspect. You can do XXX. But the reality is that you have to focus on what it is that God is telling you to do this year, so much so that you realize that his work is tantamount to anything else, and that not only is the work tantamount, but your work is. That means that one, it's his plan that's important, but also your contribution to the plan is important. So if you get to this place where, oh, I can take a break and the plan will keep going, that's not true. It is important that your contribution not cease, that your work not cease. Okay? And you're going to be doing some of it alone. And it's going to be hard work. It's going to be tedious work. It's going to be annoying. And you're going to be like, listen, what's really good, God? And then that's when the distractions will come. That's when the people will come. That's when they'll be like, oh, let us do this together. Let us, connect. And you know what'll be one of the ways that you will consider giving in is because the people that you thought would connect with you, the people that you thought were going to build with you, the people that you thought would have no complaints about doing the work with you, they will be nowhere to be found. They will be nowhere to be found, and you will often feel alone and overwhelmed and as though you're the only one up on the wall doing the work. And then God will have to remind you that you're not alone, that you're with him. Because we look for validation through people, that our work is worthy and has value through people. Excuse me. And that's how the enemy distracts us. That's how the enemy distracts us. People aren't going to always be able to support you in the way that you want. The question is, can they support you in the way that you need? Can they show up for you in other ways? Can they pray for you? Can they plug in for you? Can they share about the goodness of God through you? Can they do those things? They may not be able to come to where you are. They may not be able to actually tap into the work. But can they show up for you in the way that you need, not necessarily that you want? You have to shift your perspective, because if you don't, you will get literally distracted by Sanballat and Geshem, and you'll come down from the wall, and the work that's supposed to be done will cease. And then you will have acted in disobedience and sin. So it's not just that you're taking a break. It's not just that you have an expectation that others will pick up the load. It is that you will be then walking in disobedience and sin, and therefore out of the will of God. What seems small has major impact. What seems small has major impact. And remember, Sanballat and Geshem, when Nehemiah had first come back to Jerusalem, they were already mad because they had been essentially looting the prosperity of Jerusalem. They were benefiting from Jerusalem's walls and gates being down. They were benefiting from the people being in disarray. They were benefiting from the desecration of God's city. They were benefiting from that. They were never going to mean well with Nehemiah. They were never going to partner with him in the way that they desired. There's going to be people that you know are no good, but because they're going to come to you and say, I want to work with you on this, and I want to do this and that, and you're going to think, oh, well, maybe they've changed. Maybe they're not as bad as I think. Maybe this is a good idea. You know who they are. You don't have to give them the benefit of the doubt when God has given you common sense. You don't have to do that. And we want to do it because it makes us feel better. It makes us feel like, oh, they really see the good in me. They really see that I'm not the person that they portrayed before. Or they really see that I have value. Who cares? Who cares? If you know that somebody is not for you, and you know that your spirit is saying, do not get involved with this, do not get involved with this person. It doesn't matter how much they smile at you. It doesn't matter how good it sounds. It doesn't matter if they're speaking exactly to what your dream goals are, whatever. Don't get involved. Listen to that. Listen to that. Because if you don't, you'll end up in a situation, and then what? Right? Hold on, guys. It's a familiar scripture, but it's one that I think that we have to take adequate time with to really realize what he was saying and his consistency, because he was doing it over and over again. He remained steadfast in his response of, yeah, no, I'm not going to be able to do that. Yeah, no, I'm not interested in that. And that's important. It was a total of 5 times that they tried to distract him. How many times have you already been distracted this year in the first week? How many times? How many times? What was your response? That's the real question. Is your response consistent? Are you committed to the work that he's given you? That's it. So, read and hold Nehemiah 6, verses 2 through 4 in your heart this week. Make sure that you're focused on the plan and not on the validation. Make sure that you're focused on what God is telling you to do and not what your flesh is wanting you to succumb to. That's going to be the word for you all year long. All year long. Nehemiah 6 verses 2 through 4. And if you have not gotten your tickets to the Hey Pretty conference, they have been extended to January 21st. So go to heyprettylife.com to get yours and meet us in Ocala. The Facebook group is already jumping. The girls are in there. They're getting fed. They're connecting. They're getting ready for conference. I don't want you to miss it. This is a 2-day experience that we have never, ever done before. So there will be things that you know and love about it, but there are new things that we've brought for you. And so I don't want you to miss it. Tickets are on sale for $100. They are like, that's $50 a day. You can't beat it. You cannot beat it. So go to heyprettylife.com, grab your tickets, meet us in Ocala February 10th through 11th, hold Nehemiah 6 verses 2 through 4 in your heart, and make sure that you enjoy some pretty good coffee. Bye, pretty.